The problem that we have with raw and auto is that while as nice as they are, they basically give us two main options in regards to structuring our XML. We can either have all attributes or all elements, nothing in between. What happens if maybe I want the ID as an attribute and I want the name as an element? Well, unfortunately, can't do that with raw or auto. This is where explicit and path come into play. Explicit and path give us full control over the emitted XML. Now, the thing about explicit is that while it gives us the exact same power that path does, it's an older technology, it's got really complex syntax, and it's not the preferred way of doing things. That if you actually go check the books online, the MSDN documentation, you'll notice that for the most part, the recommendation is don't do it this way, use path instead. And so as a result, I'm going to utilize path here. That really is the real world option. Now, what you're going to notice about for XML path is that the defaults are strikingly familiar. You'll notice that each row is going to have a tag name of row. You're going to notice that there's no root element. And you're going to notice really kind of one slight difference from before is that by default, our columns are going to become elements. Now, what you're going to notice is that we do have the ability to specify in path the different tag names. So, for example, for each category, I want that to be called category. I can specify that there. You'll also notice that we've got root. But the big power comes in how we're going to identify what to do with each column. Now, the way that we're going to do this is by utilizing a little bit of XPath syntax. We identify not only the name, but also the location after each column, basically by aliasing it. Now, there are two little special characters that we want to know, and that's going to be the @ and the /. The @ for an attribute, the / to indicate a hierarchy. Let's go back to the Management Studio, start all over again, and kind of build back up to a join. So just like before, open up a new query window, select name, there we go, from production, product category, as PC, for XML path. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off with just the defaults. And what we're going to see here is, sure enough, we get row, 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 and we get everything as name. Now, if I want to change the name here, I would alias the table and just specify whatever name I wanted it to be. Without an @, it'll become an element. If I want something to be an attribute, I use the @. So what I'm going to do is just go back in, add in a brand new column here, and I'm going to say PC product category ID, but I want that to be as an attribute called ID. So now when I execute this, what we're going to notice is that sure enough, we now get ID equals 4 as an attribute, and we get name as an element. Now if we go one step further, what you're going to notice is that I can change from row to maybe be category. Make sure we put single quotes around that. And I can also specify a root element, and let's say categories. And you'll notice that when I execute this, that sure enough, everything's inside of a root, and then you'll notice that row has been changed to category. Cool. And that's how we can retrieve XML from SQL Server. I'll see you in the next lesson.